Negativity bias, is it really the operating system that's good or beneficial for today?
Yeah, because for all these years and generations, if you're wrong, it's very, very costly. And it could be costly, like with death. Like if you think this plant is poisonous or this plant is sweet and good, if it's poisonous and you're wrong, that could be the end of you. Just like if you think behind this big boulder, is there a unicorn or is there a hungry lion? Those types of things impact you so much, and it gets ingrained not only in you but the people around you, because there's that fear, that training. So that negativity bias had a purpose at one time. It did serve us to some extent.
But now it's about, that negativity bias can now appear like the what ifs, the what ifs, what ifs, what ifs. And how many times, when I'm thinking about what I think about, it's like it's looking for the how it won't work, or it's looking for the negative side of something, that negative bias. It's like, okay, that no longer serves me. Because if I really work within my intuitive guidance and with the intention to see what is in alignment with me. Now I am picking what is good. I'm not guessing. I'm picking what is good. I'm seeing what is in alignment with me. I'm seeing my next best steps for the highest good right now and aligning me up with where we're going in the future, right? So negative bias had a purpose, but it's time for that to shift.
Exactly. And we've done that with some things. And I don't even think we realize we've done that. We just kind of evolved. Like, for instance, people used to shake hands and they would shake hands and kind of touch your forearm and stuff with the other hand. And what was the purpose of that? It wasn't to be friendly or to greet you or anything like that. It was to say, I have no weapons. You have no weapons. We're coming here
In peace.
in peace. And so it was basically, hey, you have nothing to fear. I have nothing to fear. We're both just kind of, we're here. Now, we didn't keep that. We kept the handshake part of it, but it evolved into a new meaning. Now it's a friendly greeting and that type of thing. So those things are still in us, but we've got to upgrade them and have them be a positive thing rather than, oh, geez, I think you might have a knife on you or something like this.
All right. And the what I just keep going to the what ifs. That is a common. Who doesn't do that? The what ifs, what if I do this, and what if that happens, and what if that happens? And it's that the what ifs are often in that negative bias. And it's equally true that it could be what ifs the other way, the positive bias. Truly, I mean, that's equally the case. So, and then we could, there's negative energy around us, there's positive energy around us. So we could totally see all the negative all the time if we chose to. And we could totally see the positive if we chose to. Really about aligning with, oh my gosh, one, being aware. What are we doing? Are we in this pattern of negative bias, which we honor its history because it's real, it's there. And now that we've acknowledged it, we can shift it. We can take that intention and go, no, I'm choosing the higher frequency here. And negative bias was a guide, but positive bias can also be a guide.
Yeah, and I'm thinking too about when there's pleasure and there's pain, those two ends of the spectrum.
Mhm.
Well, they've done lots of studies, and if you give someone, let's say, $100, they have a certain amount of happiness. Say they lost $100, they'd have deeper unhappiness. Okay.
Mhm.
And so for me, what I've done is I've said, okay, I understand this principle. I have to kind of retrain myself a little bit here so that when I feel down or I lost $100, I have to realize, okay, there's something in me that's kind of overreacting on that. And I have to say, to train myself through time, that is not a big deal. $100, it's not, I want to lose a hundred
Like you're
dollars.
talking about get it into balance. So you're talking about a history with loss. There's an
Yes.
energetic, in other words, an emotional history with loss. And so when there's a feeling of loss, whoa, all that memory comes back. all the memory of experiences come back subconsciously, but the emotion comes back, influences our body. And that's why it's so important to heal at the energetic level, to transition the emotion. We're not going to forget experiences, but we surely can transition the pain of it, the whatever the experience holds, right? But some sort of low vibe, negative, at the time it was perceived as negative energy in that, and transition it to a support, a love of self, a supportive self energy and emotion. And we can totally do that. There is so many techniques that are really effective. Matter of fact, we do that with people, don't we? We walk with them. You know, and it depends on the depth of these experiences. We say, oh, in 6 weeks. Well, that's a good starting place. In 6 weeks, we can really start shifting that. And depending on how deep that's ingrained and how many layers there are, it's beneficial to commit. Like, it is okay to say, this is going to be some journey work I'm going to do. And so that's why we work with people at different levels, because there's different layers and levels of in which what needs to be and is ready to transition into a loving support. But the benefit of that is that now when you lose that $100, you're like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of a bummer. But it's realistic to the moment instead of this whole package of emotion that's been collected over time that causes this huge reaction, like you were explaining. And then training our experiences with energy and thought to see, well, when you've been given $100, what's that feel like? Now let's train that response to be, let's train it to be big, because energy attracts energy, and you want more of that, then the reaction needs to be that big to that. And if you want more of the loss feeling, then you keep that big reaction to that. I mean, it's as simple as that. Energy attracts energy. And it's so simple, yet here we are, right?
But I would say it's simple, but if you're not aware of it,
Yeah.
then it's just happening. It's happening to you and you don't even realize it. And so for me, and I know you too, is that the awareness of this, to know that, okay, there's a negativity bias. Now I'm aware of that. Now let's do some things energetically and with your mindset and other things like this to have it work in your favor rather than not. But if you're not even aware of that, like if you were unaware that you had a thermostat in your house and it's got the heat on and all this, and you're opening up your windows, you're turning on fans, you would just live in that existence. But if you realize, oh, geez, there's a thermostat, I can change this, then that just changes everything. And I think that's what's so critical about what you do, Janell, is one of your things is you bring awareness to people to things that they didn't even know existed, whether it's concepts, whether it's things like we're talking here, whatever it might be. And then you can work on what you know. You can work on that. But if you don't even know you have this thing out there that's holding you back or causing you unwanted stress or limiting you, it's hard to make those advances that you want.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Thank you for that, Bryan. I think that now, and then getting that, once we have awareness, then the next step is now I get it's so, like I was saying earlier, it's so simple. And then the journey begins. And that's where we get to really meet ourselves, get to work with ourselves, we get to love on ourselves, we get to transition these different experiences. And that's where the journey work is. And that's where working with somebody, I've worked with somebody, and that's where people that are looking for shifts work with somebody. Work with that person you resonate with, because that'll get your shifts faster. We've formulated over the last 25 years, formulated a strategy and strategies that we can individualize, because it's not the most beneficial to have a canned approach. If you can say, hey, I want you to work with me and we want to address what I'm going through, the shifts happen a lot faster. And instead of going through 20 years, 25 years of figuring it out like I have, you get to see the shifts just within, depends on what we're shifting, but you get to see them within a month, and then you see the other shifts in 3 months, and then you see, depending on the layers that are ready to go, right? They just shift so much quicker, and you get to be faster
Yeah, I think
than
of,
me.
yeah, and well, which is what we're trying to do. We're
Which is
trying
what
to
we're
help
trying to do.
people
Yeah.
not have to take as long. And one of the key things is after they have the awareness, then you're helping them interpret it in a meaningful way,
Yeah. What's this look like now? Let's
supportive
apply
way.
this now.
Yeah, and you're great at the application part. But if someone sees something and their interpretation and their meaning is, oh, I'm a loser, or here it goes again, or I can never overcome this, those types of beliefs, then if you can change that interpretation and come up with a different meaning, that's a game changer in itself. Because instead of beating yourself up, you could say, oh, here's an opportunity to switch this out, or here's an opportunity to practice some of my skills. Here's an opportunity to grow.
Yeah. The shifts start happening, perspective shifts. And those are the huge spaces, aren't they, of aha.
Exactly. And then it's not just someone guiding you. Now you have the skills and the ability
Yep.
to tap into your intuition, to tap into your feelings. You have some tools to be able to say, okay, this is empowering, this is disempowering. I'm going to choose the empowering way.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's what we want is people in their power. Yeah, standing in their power.